Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So glad that you're here. My name is Bree. If you're new here, I make content about faith, sister locks, and life in Houston. In today's video, we're going to be talking about self-control, which is one of the fruits of the spirit that I find that most people struggle with. And when I say most people, it seems like in this world, it's a popular idea that men are generally the ones who struggle in this area, but y'all know it's women too. It's everybody. Everybody at some point in their lives struggles with self-control about something. Most of us will never really, not even most of us, none of us will ever really be able to get it 100% right 100% of the time. But in today's video, I wanted to go Old Testament on y'all. Let's go. Because we have a lot of examples in the Bible of rich kings, prophets, men who had a heart after God, the holy, righteous people of the Bible, who just did not have the self-control that God desires for our lives. We're talking about Solomon, we're talking about David, we're talking about pharaohs who had multiple wives, we're talking about Samson. We're talking about people who knew the will of God, knew the instructions, and they know that they're only to have one wife, but they wanted to have multiple wives and concubines. And so when we read stuff like that, especially as Proverbs 31 women, it can get a little bit discouraging, especially in a dating world where we keep coming across people, men specifically, who all they want to do is just have sex. Or they'll say that they're abstinent, but then when you two are in close quarters, they'll try to make a move on you and show you, hey, I'm actually not abstinent, I'm actually DTF. So it's like, what do you do in that situation? The answer is time and discernment. Time will tell you everything that you need to know about a person and their intentions and whether or not their actions match their words. Let's look at Samson, for example. In Judges 16, and I encourage y'all to read this on your own because we don't have enough time to read over this whole entire chapter in this video, but this is like one of the most interesting stories in the Bible as it relates to dating. There's a lot of going around with people saying, oh, the Bible is silent about dating. The Bible doesn't give us any advice about dating, but it gives us example after example about what to do and what not to do as it relates to choosing a marriage partner. And Samson did not get it right. So we have Samson in chapter 16. Straight away in the first verse, he goes and spends the night with a prostitute. And it's like, okay, guy, like, okay, because it's like he's already a rich young ruler in Israel. It says right in the previous verse in 15:20 that he led Israel for 20 years in the day of the Philistines. So this guy could have had any wife that he wanted to, and yet he's still settling, he's still playing around, still sleeping around with prostitutes, and he's just not really setting a good example as a leader, which will probably contribute to the fact of why these people want to kill him. So we get to 16 verse 4, where it says, sometime later he fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek whose name was Delilah. Now, it doesn't talk about how long that they were getting to know each other, but it is very obvious that there wasn't much discernment going on. There wasn't much of a vetting process, and he fell in love. And you know, if you fall into something, there's a lot of speed involved and there's a lot of pain involved. Okay, there's cuts, there's bruises when you falling into something. You ever fell up the stairs? Okay, you ever fell off of a bike, fell while you were skating? It hurts because it's happening hard and it's happening fast, and it usually does not have a good ending. So he's falling in love with this lady, and straight away she's being bribed by the Philistines, who are coming to her asking her, hey, try to find out what the source of Samson's strength is so that we can kill him and we'll pay you money. So right away she's trying to, and oh my gosh, like as I was reading this, I was getting triggered because this is exactly what narcissists do. They come into your life, you know, just sneaking and sliding and slithering their way into your life, and they want to know everything about you. But then when you ask them questions about them, oh, they're quiet, or they keep deflecting it back to you, and they don't really want to answer any questions about themselves. It's because they have an end game. It's because they have something up their sleeve, and they want to use everything that you tell them, every deep dark secret, every weakness, every flaw against you. So they're gonna store it up in their memory bank, and then as soon as something happens in a relationship that they don't like, or that doesn't go their way, or if they just simply decide, hey, you know what, I don't like you anymore, they're gonna come with the attacks every weakness, every flaw. They're gonna play on that and hurt you and break you down, because that is what a narcissist does. And Delilah is a narcissist. She says, tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued. Now he goes and he lies to her. And they did this 3 different times. And by the 3rd time, she starts nagging him. Now, ladies, Proverbs 31 women, we got to be careful not to nag our men, because they don't like that. It's somewhere in the Bible, I think it's in Proverbs, where it says, it's better to live on the roof of a corner of the house than to live with a nagging wife, or something like that. I'm gonna put the scripture up on the screen so you can read it for accuracy. But yeah, let's not do that. And men, Ephesians 5:25, men, if you're dating someone and you noticing that all your woman does is nag, maybe y'all are better off as friends, because don't nobody got time for that. Take it from me. So in verse 15, she says to him, how can you say I love you when you won't confide in me? This is the 3rd time you made a fool out of me and haven't told me the secret of your great strength. With such nagging, she prodded him day after day until he was sick to death of it. So y'all can already see how she's using her manipulation tactics, trying to, play this guy out and really trying to hurt this man. And it's just, I don't know, like, this could have been completely avoidable had Samson been discerning this dating partner, and had he been exercising self-control, namely sexual self-control. Self-control, to me personally, is one of the most important fruits of the spirit. And that is because, like we talked about in the last video, that's a standard that I set for myself. So if I know that I'm fighting against urges every day, I've been abstinent since January 2021, y'all. I'm fighting against urges, temptations all the time, and I'm always exercising self-control. And so when I come across people and I enter into dating relationships and a person tries to play in my face like they have the self-control, but they really don't, it's like, why did you play in my face, bro? Like, why did you lie? Like, what was the point of that? And see, the last relationship that I had that ended in infidelity, it made me think of Esau. Esau is the man in Genesis 25 who sold his birthright for some soup. Now, what is a birthright? A birthright is the special rights of the firstborn son. After the father dies, the oldest son receives the father's power and the right to make decisions for the entire family. He also gets twice as much money and property as each of his brothers. So this man Esau then traded in his whole future for a biggie bag, for a Wendy's 4 for $4. Like, come on, like, why would you trade your whole entire future, your wealth, your bloodline for a quick fast food meal? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, why would a man find a wife, enter into her life, lie to her, pretend in her face like he wants to be there for her, he wants to be married, he wants to have kids, and then he turns his back and go chase after hoes, chase after prostitutes, indulging in one-night stands? Why do people do that? Why do women do that to men? Why does a woman cross a path of a Ephesians 5:25 man? He gives her her last name, and then she sneaks and run off, go sleep around with her coworkers, her neighbors, gym partners, all this weird stuff behind his back. And it's like, why are people getting married who don't actually want to be married? Why are we lying and talking about last names and having kids and houses and families and rings when some of you out there don't really want that? Why are we lying? How about let's not lie to people and say that we want things that we really don't? Because when we do that, we become the enemy of that person's life. What is the enemy's job? His job is to steal, kill, destroy, confuse, tempt, deceive. And what did Jesus come to do? Jesus came to give us a rich and satisfying life, peace that transcends understanding, a renewed mind, strength to go on, all these good and beautiful things. So Jesus is the one that you want to stay in alignment with. So that's why every single week, every single video, I feel like I'm talking about it ad nauseum. I'm talking about it till I'm blue in the face. Ladies, gentlemen, everybody involved, we got to be careful. We got to be more careful. I'm holding myself accountable to the same exact things that I tell y'all. Okay, because it's tricky out here. Like, the levels of deceit is just Okay, it's up there. Like, and you just, it almost makes it to the point where it feels like, dang, I don't even want to date, because how many more liars and deceitful people am I gonna run into? How many people gonna lie and play in my face, tell me that they want something that they really don't? And it's very discouraging, y'all. I know it is. But I'm encouraging y'all, keep the faith. Keep on believing. Keep on familiarizing yourselves with these scriptures that I tell you about, with the Bible stories that I'm sharing with y'all. Just be in your word. Lean into the Holy Spirit. Pray for God to, you know, help you to guard your heart. Help you to get that wisdom. And help you to have that strength and continue to keep moving forward in this world. For those of you who actually want to be married. For those of y'all who don't want to be married and y'all just okay with being single, do you, boo. You ain't hurt nobody's feeling. Paul actually, like, he says that it's actually better to be single than it is to be married. So if that's what you want to do, cool, do it. But don't lie and play in somebody's face when you know that the other person wants to be married. Don't waste people's time like that. Come on, like. So that's it that I have for this video. Let me know down below in the comment section if you can think of any other Bible stories where it's like a similar scene where I don't know why my mind immediately went to Jacob and Leah and Rachel and them. We might have to do a video about that later and dissect that and talk about the level of deception that was going on in that story too, with the dad. How many out there have dated someone and the family members was the one that was deceiving you and lying to you and trying to play in your face? Probably a few of y'all. But all right, I hope y'all subscribe to this video. Give me a like and make sure y'all are sharing this content with people who y'all feel like will be really, you know, encouraged by it. And I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.